Hello, world. Your favorite podcast host, Anthony Diaz, here with another episode of 50 States of Terror. Welcome back. Welcome back. And if this is your first time here, then welcome for the first time. I am uh, I am excited to announce that I'm getting very very close to reaching some goals that has been in the works for a while. Um, when they do come to fruition and they do come true and they're realized, I'll let everybody know. But yeah, some things are happening in the background that'll hopefully jump this show and jump this company to the next level. Uh, yeah. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, it's all about getting sponsorships and partnerships with people in town, and hopefully everything pans out, and we can start making this thing a network. You know what I'm saying? So hell yeah. School starts in 2 weeks. I am very very nervous, but I'm excited for it. Cannot wait. E-Fest is next week. Very stressful, but I am 100% confident that it's going to just be a fun time. It is late. What time is it? It is 9:51 on a Tuesday. Have to record, have to get this done. I am tired. It's a long day. A very very exciting day, but it's a very long day. My father-in-law is in town. He's stopping by Texas, seeing the family. It's still very hot down here. And what's crazy is when I was doing this state and researching the state, and I was looking at the pictures and how beautiful it is. Man, Vermont. I've never been to Vermont, and I'll say that later too. But man, like just incredible scenery, and I'm pretty sure it has extremely cold winters. But man, it just looks really this is really cool just to be there. Uh, one of these days when I'm done with all this heat, I'll always be a Texan. But man, I want seasons down. 'Cause growing up in the East Coast, I had seasons. Virginia, North Carolina, we had fall, spring, summer. But man, just it just being hot all the time, it's just really annoying. Well, my glasses are pretty shiny. One of the lights I had, so I have one ring light for those who are listening and not watching the YouTube video. Quick plug. Hey, you should go check out the YouTube video. You should follow the YouTube page. I am nowhere near to be monetized, but like just to see my lovely face. But yeah, so like I have a ring light and I had a different one on the other side, but that one broke and the light just doesn't work anymore. So I still have this one going. I know they're like maybe $20, maybe $30, but the one that was it was really really cool. Logitech makes one, and it's like this bar, the light bar, and you put it like behind the monitor, where you can obviously you can do whatever you want with it, but like I just like the way it looks, but it's just really expensive. you know so I'll just I'll wait until this one craps out, and I'll get another a nicer set of lights. So when it's like this and it's like 10 o'clock at night and you have to record, I have better lighting, you know? Okay. So I think that's all that's going on. I'm really tired. I'm so sorry. This episode is going to be 100% like I wrote everything. I wrote everything on my notes. I'm probably going to mess up a lot of words today, but we're going to get through this. We are going to get through this. So let's go into Vermont. And And let me tell you what cryptids we're doing today. We are doing the awful and the Wampahoofus. I absolutely love that word, Wampahoofus. Let's do this. Vermont. Okay, so like always, let us start with the first known inhabitants of the area. During the Archaic period, which is 7,000 to 1000 BC, indigenous Americans primarily inhabited the area until Europeans began to colonize the area in the early 1600s. The prominent people in the area were Mohican, Abenaki, Koki, and the Kawasuks. By 1609, the Iroquois Mohawks drove out smaller native tribes and was at a conflict with the Abenaki. The name Vermont is said to be claimed by French explorer Samuel de Champlain. Uh, okay, well, French, shouldn't it be Chaplin, maybe? Or am I just being obnoxious with the French pronunciation? Well, doesn't matter. Samuel de Champlain, giving the area the name Vermont, which is French for green mountain. When Samuel de Champlain, I did it again. When Samuel de Champlain arrived, he wanted to ally with the native population, and in order to do so, he shot and killed an Iroquois chief with an arquebus. And I think that's how you pronounce it. An arquebus. Arquebus or arquebus? The arquebus, and I didn't know what this was. And I thought I was like decent in like military history, but the arquebus was one of the first firearms introduced to America within this time frame. Although we know that firearms were introduced as early as the 1500s, we know that these firearms were used to intimidate and impress the indigenous peoples. The French claimed Vermont as part of New France, and with the arrival of Europeans, approximately 75 to 90% of indigenous peoples succumbed to diseases such as smallpox and unfortunately died. The Vermont area was heavily occupied by French and English by 1724. Military posts and forts were under constant attack by surviving Abenaki. In 1763, the Treaty of Paris was signed, leading to France ceding their claims to Great Britain. Now, I wrote in capital letters, note. If you haven't noticed from previous episodes, the history of the eastern states are going to be incredibly intertwined with French, British, Native Indigenous, and a bunch of treaties, grants, territory shifts, conflicts, and this was even before the Revolutionary War. By 1764, King George III proclaimed the territory under jurisdiction of New York. This led to Ethan Allen forming the Green Mountain Boys, which was the beginning stages of sovereignty. In 1777, a Declaration of Independence was made, thus renaming this area Republic of New Connecticut for 6 months. This meant that at one point, Vermont was its own self-sustaining power. June 2nd of the same year, they drafted admission to the newly established U.S. In July of 1777, Vermont adopted a constitution which would stand from 1777 to 1786. Vermont became the self-governing state to ban slavery. And this was adult slavery, by the way, meaning that men who were 21 were freed and women were freed at 18. So slavery was still a thing, but only lasted until adulthood. And I say adulthood in parentheses because I mean adulthood is a pretty vague word, but yeah, you had to be 21 for a male and 18 for a female to get freed from slavery. All right, I'm going to speed up things here because Vermont has some really interesting history. that for real. Like there's so much stuff happening in Vermont, and you don't really think about like how proximity Vermont is between, well, because like it sits right beneath Canada and it's above New York and is closer to Maine. So it was kind of involved with the first 13 colonies, but like it's incredible history from that state. It is remarkable. Where was I? The first major British battle, British, the first major British battle loss in the Revolutionary War were the battles of Bennington and Saratoga. Vermont was its own entity for 14 years and couldn't be admitted into the Union because New York, the area that declared by King George, remember, was still claiming them as their own. Finally, they were admitted into the Union on March 4th, 1791, as the 14th state. During the Civil War, Vermont sent 33,288 troops, which the state at the time were experiencing political changes like embracing abolitionism, political views, and growing into an early type of Republican Party. I say early because we know that the political ideology of Republicans and Democrats will change and evolve over the years. Post Civil War saw the migration of Irish, Scottish, and Italian immigrants. By 1980, the state population grew to over 500,000. By 2012, the state recognized the Elnu Abenaki and the Nihilgan Board of the Kusuk Abenaki Nation as state recognized tribes, also to include the Abenaki Nation of the Missisquoi and the Kaoseki traditional band of the Coos Abenaki Nation. Vermont is truly a state that I absolutely think is simply gorgeous. I have not visited. I actually never have been, like I said before, that far northeast of the US. Never even been to Canada. Oh, I want to go to Canada. Anyway, but it is one that truly looks majestic, and I truly mean that. Definitely one of the states that I wouldn't mind retiring to. Yeah, Vermont's just this is fucking gorgeous, man. uh, I was looking at Zillow and researching like houses in Vermont, some of the more expensive ones. So I like to do this like fantasy window shopping, and let's just say I had $1 billion and I can afford one of these houses. I like to go Colorado. I've done it in Colorado. There's a piece of land in Colorado I really want. It's it's just beautiful land with two houses and a large barn. It's just so nice. But I did the same thing in Vermont, and there is a house that's $22 million. It it's a beautiful looking house, but like holy shit, $22 million. And then I saw one that's it was like $12 million, but it was like 148 acres of land, and just to have land, period. But 148 acres of land. What did I say? 148 acres. 148 acres of land would be just It would just be amazing. I mean, it'd be amazing. But yeah, that's wishful thinking, perhaps obtainable one of these days. Let's get into the cryptids. Let's get to what we all came here to talk about, and that is the cryptids. First, let me check everything is still good to go. Hell yeah. Okay. Because remember last time the video cut out like halfway, and I made a cool little technical difficulty screen. I thought it was funny. I'm gonna start doing some really cool edits on these videos. I want to. I'm gonna start getting really into video editing because it's fun. It's really enjoyable. To do all the cool uh, editing techniques and the overlays and the special effects and everything you do in post, it's just cool. So I'm learning. So let's talk about the awful. Located in Berkshire and Richford, Vermont, in the year of 1925, people would claim to see something straight out of ancient Iranian, Egyptian, and Greek lore. A griffin like creature known as the Awful. It was said to be gray in color, have 20-foot wingspan, a serpent's tail, eagle front talons, pond, pond, pod, hind legs, meaning like it was like either a lion or a dog pod creature, and it is literally straight up a griffin. It's straight up a griffin. The first reported sighting came from sawmill workers from Richford. According to the research, the men were crossing a street bridge and noticed a very large creature which was perched on a nearby rooftop, much like how a bird of prey would. Other sightings would have this creature terrorizing families and their pets by also perching or almost stalking. By 1928, sightings of this creature have almost completely stopped, but then making another appearance in 2006. None of these accounts have the creature as an aggressor. It is simply just either perched in like a menacing manner or in full flight. So like you'll be either on the ground driving your car or on a hike or somewhere, and this massive bird right on top of you. This also apparently sparked a spontaneous trip in 1925 by H.P. Lovecraft to investigate the creature sightings. This isn't the first time we had large flying creatures, but nothing like the Awful. What makes this interesting is the proximity of other flying creatures such as the the Thunderbird, and reports of pterosaurs. Then within the same geographical area, the Jersey Devil, and of course, Mothman. Is this an instance of misidentification of a very large bird or other cryptid? Or is this a griffin that came to visit in the early 20s? I have an interesting theory that I'll explain later on this. Let's go into the Wampahoofus. This one. This one. Holy shit. I love this one so much. Enter the Wampahoofus. And I fear that I can't do this one straight justice. So I'm just going to read something from the Vermont Daily Chronicle. All right. And I'll 100% put the link in the show notes because it's a wonderful article. This is fantastic. Okay, so here we go. The Wampahoofus, potentially related to the mythical Rakabor and Wangdoodle, was a unique mammal with an extraordinary adaptation: uneven legs. This anatomical quirk allowed it to traverse mountainsides efficiently, but only in one direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on whether its longer legs were on the left or right side. According to folklore, males traveled clockwise while females moved counterclockwise. This adaptation proved fatal if the creature found itself facing the wrong direction on a slope, as it would tumble to its demise. The Wampahoofus, also known as and I have absolutely no fucking idea how to say this, the Gyascutus or the Gouger, was described as a deer-boar hybrid. While Vermont's variant had fur, other regions reported scaled versions. Its coloration ranged from dark green to brilliant orange with varying toe configurations. Some had 3 toes, others had 5, and some possessed cloven hooves. One variant reportedly even developed a tail whistle. The species' social behavior was largely solitary, except during mating season. This is awesome, by the way. It had its mating seasons inside of this article. They maintained a herbivore diet and inhabited specific elevation zones, never venturing into valleys or beyond certain heights. Only nursing females occasionally risk higher altitudes, as documented in Nature Compass by Marv Kim, her ancestral relative once encountered 5 ungainly cows, each caring for one nursing calf. The creature's history extends beyond American shores. In his 1646 work, Pseudodoxia epidemica, Sir Thomas Brown documented similar beliefs about British badgers with asymmetrical legs. That a Brock or badger had the legs on one side shorter than the other, though an opinion perhaps not very ancient, is yet very general. The tale likely spawned from Vermont's numerous lumber camps, particularly those around the Winooski River Valley and Orleans County, where the state's largest concentration of logging operations existed. The emergence of the Wampahoofus legend paralleled Vermont's peak logging period, when the state had over 1,200 operating sawmills. Today, the creature's legacy lives on through the Wampahoofus Trail on Mount Mansfield, elevation 4,393 feet, Vermont's highest peak. The trail, established in 1935 by Professor Roy O. Buchanan and the Long Trail Patrol of the Green Mountain Club, intersects with this historic Long Trail, America's oldest long-distance hiking trail. The characteristic rock formation that inspired the trail's name can be found at coordinates 44 degrees 31 minutes 33 seconds north, 72 degrees 49 minutes 13 seconds west. And if you haven't already made a connection to this, the others around this area, such as the squonk, this creature is one of the lovely little things in Fearsome Critters, the 1939 book detailing creatures that lurk in the heavy woods and mountains made famous by lumberjacks. I absolutely love the stuff that comes out of Fearsome Critters. It's just so awesome. Like, the things that come out of that book, phenomenal. Yeah. So, let me go back to what my theory was about the awful. So it's a griffin, right? And you have a number of different flying creatures that come out of that area. You have Mothman, the Jersey Devil. You have the awful, which is basically a griffin. You have the Thunderbird, and in some cases, you also have like ancient dinosaurs. Not ancient, prehistoric dinosaurs. So my overall thing about like these flying creatures is that I sometimes think that the existence of large birds may have had a play into like misidentifying something as like another creature, like another myth or legend or lore. Like, imagine you are in the 1920s. Okay, only what 60 years prior to 1920, you were having European settlers, more immigrants coming over and bringing their stories. So let's just say there was a creature, just a basic flying creature, large creature. Now, whether or not you're taking something from like the Jersey Devil, Mothman side, or the Thunderbird, it sets the premise that whatever lore that you were brought up with, if you see something odd in the sky, I think you would immediately associate it with whatever you were brought up to believe, or brought up to not so much believe, but brought up to like learn, I guess, about. So in this case, this could be just a Thunderbird, but with their misinterpretation, well, not misinterpretation, but misidentifying what a Thunderbird is, they just immediately just called it a awful, or basically a griffin. So that's my thing. Large flying creature, depending on where you're from, where your background is, you don't know what a thunderbird is. I mean, you just know what your history is. So obviously, you'd be like, well, I I see something large flying. It's a griffin. Well, it's an awful. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to dissect something like like this because we do know that large flying birds exist. I don't know. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I do love this. These two creatures from Vermont. I don't know. I think I went on a little tangent there. Like I said, I'm pretty tired. The one thing that I do appreciate about both of these cryptids is the fact that there's nothing really odd about them. You know, I do like the fact that they are very very rooted into like what I guess what that region is like mountainous area, woods, uh, beautiful, green scenery. Of course, you would think that there's a huge flying creature somewhere, or yeah, like, or there's a asymmetrical legged being just walking up the mountain. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just rambling on. I'm tired. I'm tired. Yeah. So let me rate let me rate these two cryptids together. I would definitely give these two like a 6.6, a 6.6. Oh my god, a 4.6. These two are, I think these two are fantastic stories, uh, deeply rooted in American folklore. Uh, I love the fact that the lumberjack one, the one that's coming from the fearsome critters, the Wampahoofus. I really do enjoy these like kind of obscure, but I mean it could be misidentified as like a just a uh, unique or odd creature. Maybe at an angle, it's like this. Maybe it might be just a large mountain lion that just like in the light, it just looks like half of its legs just look short on the other side. I don't know. It's just these are just really fun. These are really fun. There's something really way out there on the Wampahoofus. The awful, however, I really do like how it just stems from lore that comes from different countries. Because when you look at the pictures of the awful, 100% just looks like a griffin, and it's really interesting when you start to mix and mangle these lores from different countries, and when something is something spotted and you start to describe it. If anybody didn't know what a thunderbird was, or anybody that didn't know what other creatures were, but all you knew is, man, it just kind of looks like a griffin. But it comes like, but why do you not even call it a griffin? You know, why do you call it the awful? That's so weird. But I don't know. It's just these are just really cool. Vermont, it was a really interesting one to do. Uh, I really do like the artist depictions of these creatures. They're super cool looking, straight out of fantasy, straight out of Dungeons and Dragons. It's my jam. I love it, and the fact that H.P. Lovecraft went up there to investigate, fucking that's just dope. And obviously the Wampahoofus, that's just a really cool name, the Wampahoofus. Love it. I love it. Uh, yeah, so that's the episode. I truly do appreciate everybody who is joining me on these episodes and downloading the content, listening to the show. Those who are liking, following, truly appreciate it. Go like the YouTube channel, go like the TikTok videos, go like the TikTok page, the Instagram page. It's really helping a lot. I'm 200. I think I'm a little over 200 downloads away from reaching my 1,000 download a month uh, goal. I have 2 days left to reach that 1,000 goal. Excited, but thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't do this without your support, and obviously, I love doing this, and I truly appreciate again everybody who takes their time of their day to download and listen. Ziggy's wisdom: always have a plan. Always have a plan. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go into a lot of things, uh, just blindly going through a door, and sometimes you're gonna strike gold. But the one thing that you always have to do is you just have to make sure that you have a plan. I think I think if you navigate your life with a clear vision and you just work backwards, have a plan. Have a plan. And if that plan doesn't work out, then whatever steps you made it to that plan, you just revise and go another 5 years to see what happens. And I don't know. For some people, like they just go straight on and then they strike gold, and and for them that's awesome. But for me, I I need a plan. so so if a plan works, then have at it. Try it, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. I don't know. I'm fucking tired. Thank you all again. Uh, thank you all for listening. This is 50 States of Terror. My name is Anthony Diaz. Thank you all for listening. Later, y'all. And this is going to be hell to edit, but here we go.